Well, thank you all for joining us today. It's another awesome day, the city of Whitehouse, Texas. Today is a day that we come together as a community and celebrate a major accomplishment from one of our star exports, somebody that came up and spent time in the city of Whitehouse, and another one of our examples of one of our kids that's gone out into the world and done great things. And I'm speaking about Patrick Mahomes. So in preparation for Super Bowl Sunday that's coming up on February the 11th, as we seem to do this time almost every year, we would like to make a proclamation in the name of Patrick Mahomes to celebrate his accomplishment in making it to the end of the highest level of performance in the NFL, which is the Super Bowl. So here's your proclamation. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, a 2014 graduate of Whitehouse High School, is an extremely successful quarterback, and whereas Patrick originally entered the NFL as the 10th overall draft pick in the first round of the 2017 NFL Draft by Kansas City, and whereas Patrick continues his 7th season as a quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, is a 4-time AFC champion and a 6-time Pro Bowler, and whereas during his career, Patrick has been awarded many accolades, including National Football League's Most Valuable Player for the 2018 and 2022 seasons, Sportsman of the Year by Sports Illustrated in 2020, Best NFL Player ESPY Award for 2019 and 2023, Super Bowl champion for Super Bowl 54, Super Bowl MVP for Super Bowl 54, Super Bowl champion for Super Bowl 57, and Super Bowl MVP for Super Bowl 57. Whereas despite his increased fame and notoriety, Patrick continues to serve as an example of character and leadership. And whereas the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick will compete in Super Bowl 57, and now, therefore, I, James Wansley, Mayor of the City of Whitehouse, Texas, do hereby proclaim Sunday, February the 11th, 2024, to be Patrick Mahomes Day in the City of Whitehouse, Texas. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Whitehouse to be affixed this 9th day of February, 2024.
Mayor, if you could, I feel like early on when Patrick Mahomes was coming onto the scene, oftentimes when people said where he was from, they just threw out Tyler or something like that. It seems, though, in recent years, as he's gained popularity and fame, that people all across the country, around the world, are becoming familiar with Whitehouse. What does that mean to you as the mayor of the city?
Oh, it's always a sense of pride for us, and we always correct him in our heads. Whenever somebody says he's from Tyler or the Tyler area. It's a kid that came up through Whitehouse. Anybody that's been involved with football in the 2010s and on, he's definitely been on our radar and followed him through his college career. And when he was drafted by Kansas City, the city of Whitehouse quickly became Chiefs Kingdom, an extension of Chiefs Kingdom. So I can understand that. I mean, everybody wants to claim a little bit of attachment to somebody that's that successful. The NFL is a really competitive place, and when you make it to the top of that organization, you're truly somebody special. So it's great to have somebody that represents our community there in the NFL. And you know what? Honestly, if it gives them a sense of attachment to say Tyler or Tyler area, I'm perfectly fine with that too. But we're just proud of what he's done, the man that he became, and how he represents himself in that organization and in front of our kids.
Mayor, personally, you were telling me earlier that you played football at Whitehouse, and you and Patrick Mahomes share the same number. Personally, how does that make you feel that he's gone to the Super Bowl, been the leader he is, and you guys shared the same number at Whitehouse?
Yes, my claim to fame is that I was wearing number 5 in Whitehouse just like Patrick. One day I'm sure that number will be retired, and it won't be because of me. He's definitely goes without saying he's done a lot more with it than I have, but it gives me that sense of connection. And honestly, I was kind of away from the NFL for a while, and when Patrick was drafted by Kansas City, and especially when he starting on the team, that really brought me into it. And I have a feeling that I followed several people in that path because his play style is so creative. I mean, he's out there playing backyard football at the highest level, and it works somehow. I'm sure that surprises a lot of people, but it definitely makes me feel like I have kind of at least that connection with somebody that's doing so well that's from here.
Mayor, you mentioned, we've done these proclamations every time that Pat's made it to the Super Bowl. Why do you feel it's important to keep doing them?
I think it's important not to be complacent about it, to recognize it for the amazing thing that it is. Just because it's happened before doesn't mean that it's not an amazing accomplishment for Patrick as a player and for us as a community to be able to celebrate somebody that makes it to the highest level. And on that note, the first time I made this proclamation was February the 2nd, I think it was 4 years ago. And I neglected to say, on this very day, 22 years ago, my daughter was born. So happy birthday, Megan.
And as a leader, can you talk about how he's inspired football players, anyone that has gone to Whitehouse currently right now, just about, him and they can make it as well?
Yeah, I think that because of his play style and creativity, he's a super athletic guy. He comes from a lineage of athletes. But the way that he plays, being creative instead of always leaning on that athleticism, being mental too, I think that it gives the kids that aren't blessed with a high level of athleticism something that they feel like that they could do out on the fields too. When we have teams that come into Whitehouse and play us at our football stadium, you see a little bit of, they're in Patrick Mahomes Stadium. They're doing a little bit of the things that he does. It seems to push everybody in that direction. Just that level of influence that he has on how he's kind of changed the game.
Talk about how he's represented the city on and off the field.
Well, definitely on the field, he performs at the highest level, and winning MVP there is definitely on the field. You hear the mic'd up, times that he's mic'd up. When he gets a cheap hit on him, you'll hear him say, "Come on, man, you can't do that." And instead of cussing the guy out, it's like, you can't be getting away with that. And off the field, the Mahomes, he donates a lot of money and a lot of time and resources into childhood literacy. That's one of his biggest passions, and that foundation definitely raises a lot of money to meet that end. And that's the beginning of learning for kids, is being able to read. So that's super important, like a pivotal point in their life where he gets involved and helps move them forward. And every once in a while, he comes back home and surprises our kids. They think that they're meeting on a Saturday for a work day, and they're all gosh darn about it. And then they get to the gym, the overhead doors open up, and Patrick Mahomes walks in for a special session with them. So he understands where he is and what he's doing and to get his job done, but more importantly to me, he hasn't forgotten where he comes from and what that type of interaction would have meant to him at that age. So that really means a lot to me as well.
And then talk about how the community comes together. You're already seeing him on all of the windows, flags are going up. Talk about how the community comes together for him.
Yeah, it's a constant here, but Super Bowl, it goes to the next level. So you'll start seeing window paintings, you'll start seeing yard signs, you'll start seeing people flying flags on their vehicles, definitely dressing a lot more in red and yellow. All the conversations are about it. You'll see it at several of our local restaurants are gearing up for Super Bowl parties and watching parties and after parties. So it's a big draw to our community, and it's definitely something that brings us all together with kind of a common shared purpose and goal.
Do you have a prediction on a score?
Yeah, I'm going to say what I would love to see, and I think that this is indicative of how they played in their last couple of games. So I think that San Francisco is capable of getting some momentum and scoring a lot. I think that Kansas City is capable of pretty much following them touchdown for touchdown. Kansas City, Patrick loves to make a touchdown that opening drive. That seems to be where they go out there, they set a tone, they're super fired up to do it. And I think that's how this one will go. Kansas City will score first drive. It's up to the 49ers to kind of keep up with them along the way. There's some great playmakers on the 49ers side. They have a lot of talent in a lot of different areas. But Kansas City, the way they're kind of hard-nosed running the ball now, they're a threat on the ground, they're a threat in the air. And last game, it looked like Kelsey was using cheat codes. He was able to catch the ball every time he got his hands on it. And that's just that partnership that he has with those receivers, with those running backs, knowing that his O-line has his back. And it's just great. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be fun to watch Kansas City win in the Super Bowl.